Who's that? Curtis Shaw TV.
Yo.
It is Curtis. How you doing? Hey, can you hear us?
No, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You can't hear us.
Oh, I can now. I can now.
Right, go for it. Curtis, talk to us, man. How you feeling?
Bro, like, a week's a long time in football, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Beat Sheffield United last week. We're high flying. Do you know what it is for me? And maybe I'm looking at the bigger picture too much, but it kind of feels like last year we had the spine of the team, and we just needed to add those missing pieces in the window. And we've tried to address that, and we've got some of them pieces wrong. Obviously, with Havertz is not working, and then but the problem now, it feels like parts of the spine are falling apart as well, because Partey's come out, Jesus has come out. You've disrupted the goalkeepers, and to me, I don't know about anybody else, like, I don't feel at the moment like Raya looks like a definite upgrade on Ramsdale. There are certain parts of his game. Yeah, you look great on the ball, you're calm, you can pick a pass. The fundamental of a goalkeeper is, can you save shots? Can you catch crosses? Keep the ball out of the net. So it just, I don't know, last year it's like we took a big step forward. It feels like we've almost took 2 steps back.
Yeah, I feel that way. Turkish.
He makes a good point, because that's a good way to put it. Last season, when you look at, essentially you're saying the same thing I say, we were taking 2 steps back to potentially go 4 steps forward. We pulled our hamstring at the end of last season and they reconstructed our spine. That's what you're saying. Like we pulled a hammy at the end. It needed a little bit of a massage, a little bit of a rest, a little bit of spray it up a little bit going into the next season. We've come in with a scar on our spine.
Yeah.
So he makes a good point there, because that's what frustrates me the most about it all.
Curtis, everyone's talking about it. Arteta's lost his head about the officiating. How do you feel about all that?
Listen, like, VAR in this country is just not working, not the actual product, the people using it. The goal itself, I mean, like, I saw that same thing you've seen on beIN Sports, and they're basically saying the ball was in.
Yeah.
At the time when I saw it, I thought it was definitely out, but, maybe it wasn't. I thought it was a push on Gabriel. Yeah. Gabriel has this thing sometimes where, rather than being strong and winning the ball, he looks for the free kick. I'm not saying that's what happened. I do think because it's led to a goal, I think there's enough to give a foul. I actually think the worst decision is the Bruno red card is bigger than the goal for me.
I agree with you.
Forearm across the back of the head, and he should have been booked about 4 times. But it may come across wrong, and people will jump on me in the comments for this. I'm one of these people, I'm like, control the controllables. If things happen outside of your control, you can't do anything about that. My biggest problem today is I never felt for 1 minute like we were winning that game today. We had 1 shot on target. It was Martinelli's shot in the first half that was straight at him. He had the Declan Rice header from about 14 yards out. They won every header from every cross. We don't shoot from outside the area. And we just, like, last season, to me, we were probably the most enjoyable team in the league to watch, even as an Arsenal fan. I think until the end, when City took over, we were the best team. This season, we just look like the style of football's gone. Saka, the last month, has just disappeared. He can't beat his fullback.
I agree.
He looks predictable. Martinelli, the same. Odegaard's been poor. And Ketia, for me, makes us worse. I don't think Jesus makes players around him better. I don't think Eddie does. Eddie's very one-dimensional. I'm trying to score and nothing else. And then you're looking at Havertz, Jorginho, Fabio. Them 3 cost 112 million. I don't think any of them have really pushed us forward as a club. I just think if this manager's going to continue, he's got to make some cutthroat decisions with people. He's got to go to that board in January and say, listen, I might have got this Havertz one a little bit wrong, but you've got to buy me a striker for 70, 80 million, or I can't even compete with the league. The City are top, and De Bruyne hasn't kicked a ball for him. So how are we going to bridge that gap without spending?
Yeah.
He fucked up with that signing, man. because for once, I'm not looking at the owners. For once, they've done enough. So
He's Kroenke in.
So it's not even that. It's not even that. Trust me, don't put words in my mouth.
Yeah.
You don't do that, my guy. Because if I quote you in Orlando, shit will hit the fan. But,
It wasn't all on camera.
Don't worry, it's here, bro.
Something.
It's here. You
I might be trusting the process, he said.
You scarred me for life.
That was in phase 12. We're in phase 58 now.
That's true, actually. That's true.
No, but for once, I can't blame the owners, Curtis. And you're right. Like, in January, ideally, he goes to the board and says, I fucked up with Havertz. But imagine the first year, I don't look at the owners, He goes midway through the season and says, I fucked up with this one. I wouldn't be surprised if the owners say, well, sort it out yourself, mate, because why did you also keep Smith Rowe and Eddie? Why did you give Reece Nelson a new contract? Why did you do all these things if you don't rely upon them when need be?
Yeah.
So don't come to the board now and tell me you need this. You could have fucking done this, mate. That's my point. You could have done this.
Do you know my biggest question? Sorry to interrupt you, Terry. I've thrown a few grenades out on Twitter, right? And the question I want to ask people is, do we believe this manager can take us to the Premier League and the Champions League? Because that's the aim of Arsenal, right? We've won FA Cups and still not been satisfied. We've been top four. We wanted Wenger out with top four. That was considered not enough. My thing is always, can this manager take us to the next level? And that's where the question mark is for me, because it's like, I think he's a very good coach. He has great ideas, style of football. He can improve players. But his man management and his ability to get a team over the finish line, and at times his talent ID as well. I did a video the other day going through all of his signings, and I was like, he's probably 9 or 10 that have worked. There's a good 13, 14 that have been total misses. Some very expensive ones as well. So for me now, it's if you get to the end of the season and you haven't won a trophy and maybe you finished fourth, but you didn't really compete with City, it's like, at what point do we say, this is the end of the road, you've reached your ceiling, A lot of people say that Brendan Rodgers thing. Brendan created a team at Liverpool that was very exciting, challenge for the league, but they had to get Klopp to get over the finish line. He was the winner. He was the world-class manager. I know it's a story, it's an uncomfortable conversation, but I think we've got a right to ask that question. He's had a lot of time and a lot of money.
So I'm just to answer it quick, I'm of the belief that Arteta will get to a level where he's good enough to win the Premier League and the Champions League. But I don't know if that's next year. I don't know if that's this year. I don't know if that's in 5 years. I don't know if that's in 10 years. I don't know if he needs maybe a different club, slightly different. I don't know what it is. Sometimes the fit just isn't. I don't know. I believe he's talented enough. I believe he's got us a long way. Let's put it this way. If Arteta had City's squad, do you guys think he'd win the league?
Oh, yeah, I think he would.
Yeah.
I think that team does it itself almost.
So that I think, yeah, you could say does it itself, but that tells me that Mikel Arteta can, but are we saying he can only do it if he gets hold of De Bruyne and Haaland, one of the best midfielders and strikers the Premier League's ever seen? Like, what is it then? Or what is it going to take? Because 65 million went on Kai Havertz, like you said. So where are the blind spots and how does he address them? But I think they are blind spots rather than actual lack of talent and ability. Like, I think he'll get there. I just don't know how quickly.
Yeah, and that's the point, isn't it? That's the point. I mean, listen, if Timber, Odegaard, Partey, Jesus are all fit, I think we're a different team. But the reality is you are never going to get through a season without injuries. So you then have to look at, well, if that guy comes out and he comes in, can he still keep us going to win the league? And I think the problem at Arsenal, the jump between players is too big. Jesus to Nketiah is too big. Odegaard to Fabio or Havertz is too big. Declan Rice to Jorginho is too big. And that's why we fall short. Last season, if Saliba's fit, we might win the league. But the drop-off is the problem for me. I think we still... The concern for me is I still think we need a lot of money spent. A lot of money. I think we need 1 or 2 centre mids, a striker, another right winger to push Saka. The left-back situation, I feel like we've opened a can of worms there. It looks secure. Zinchenko, Tierney. One attacks, one can really defend. You've let him go. Obviously, he's got injured. Tomiyasu's done well, but it's not his natural position. And now Zinni looks like, you know, he might not be in the team now. I'm really surprised Zinni hasn't played midfield for us yet.
Yeah, I thought so too. Curtis, got to take some other callers, mate.
No
It's always a
problem.
pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Big up you, man.